Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिनि नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2, Verse 58. Sri Hiranyakashipuruvacha बाल एवं प्रवदति सर्वे विस्मितचेतसः ज्ञातयो मे निरे सर्वम् अनित्यम् अयतोत्थितम् अयथोत्थितम्. Hiranyakashipu said, while Yamaraja in the form of a small boy was instructing all the relatives surrounding the dead body of Suyogna, everyone was struck with wonder. Vismita Chetasaha. Struck with wonder within their hearts. By his philosophical words, they could understand that everything material is temporary, not continuing to exist. So as soon as they heard, they came to the right platform of knowledge. It's confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Antavanta ime deha nityasya yoktah sharirinaha. The body is perishable, but the soul within the body is imperishable. Therefore, the duty of those advanced in knowledge in human society is to study the constitutional position of the imperishable soul and not waste the valuable time of human life in merely maintaining the body and not considering life's real responsibility. So this is a responsibility. Spiritual life, self-realization is the responsibility of human life. Every human being should try to understand how the spirit soul can be happy and where he can attain an eternal blissful life of knowledge. See, this is why we keep saying that this whole process of Krishna consciousness is path for happiness. Bhagavad Gita is path for happiness. One has to try and understand how the spirit soul can be happy. Now, though the spirit soul technically cannot be unhappy, but because of illusion, because of attachment, we are undergoing suffering. So we have to try and understand this and come to the platform of happiness. And we don't have to depend or we don't have to derive happiness out of material things. No, material or we look for reasons to be happy, to become happy. Being, there is this reason for me to be happy. There is that reason, etc. But actually, there is no need for any reason. We can always be happy, all the time be happy. That is only if we come to the platform of soul. Human beings are meant to study these subject matters, not to be absorbed in caring for the temporary body, which is sure to change. So one should not be absorbed in caring for the temporary body. They should take care of their body. That is okay. Prabhupada is saying don't be absorbed in it. Like that's the only job to do. No one knows whether he will receive a human body again. There's no guarantee. For according to one's work, one may get any body, from that of a demigod to that of a dog. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya comments, only Janardana, Supreme Lord, is ever existing, but his creation, the material world, is temporary. Therefore, everyone who is captivated by the material energy and absorbed in thinking, I am this body and everything belonging to this body is mine, he is in illusion. A simple statement. If we are absorbed in thinking, again this word absorbed, captivated by material energy. What is being captivated by material energy? Oh, this is so nice. Oh, this country is so nice. That country is so nice. Whether it is artificial, man-made infrastructure or God-given, still there is no need to be captivated. When we see at least man-made infrastructure is anyway going to get destroyed one day. Krishna given material resources and nature, etc. That we can be captivated more in Krishna consciousness, saying so Krishna is creation is so beautiful. Mm. Material world itself can be so beautiful. How beautiful the spiritual world is. So we can become more Krishna conscious by looking at. But there's no point in getting captivated by just material energy. I know people are like, oh, see, oh, we go to this, Southeast Asia where the waters are green, ocean water is green. I mean, yeah, okay, it's nice, but that's not the end of life, right? And when we see that, and we should see the beautiful hand, how Krishna has so beautifully created this whole material world. So either people are captivated, so and they want to go and see places of the world, or absorbed in thinking, I am this body and everything belonging to this body is mine. But this is all illusion, simply illusion. One should think only of being eternally a part of Janardana, and one's endeavor in this material world, especially in this human form of life, should be to attain the association of Janardana by going back home, back to Godhead. This should be the only endeavor is to get Krishna's association. Everything else is a waste of time. यमएतदुपाख्याय तत्रैवान्तरधीयता ज्ञातयो हि सुयज्ञस्य चक्रुर्यत्साम्परायिकम्. After instructing all the foolish relatives of Suyagna, Yamaraja in the form of a boy disappeared from their vision. Then the relatives of King Suyagna performed the ritualistic funeral ceremonies. अतः शोचतमायूयं परं चात्मानमेव वा का आत्मा कः परो वात्रा स्वीयः पारक्य एव वा स्वपराभिनिवेशेन विनाज्ञानेन देहिनाम्. Therefore, none of you should be aggrieved. So, Hiranyakashipu is saying, none of you should be aggrieved for the loss of the body, whether your own or those of others. Only in ignorance does one make bodily distinctions, thinking, who am I, who are the others, what is mine, what is for others. Thinking only in ignorance. Now, again, Hiranyakashipu's position, he knows all this knowledge perfectly well, but he can't apply it. That knowledge is useless. In this material world, the conception of self-preservation is the first law of nature. According to this conception, one should be interested in his personal safety and should then consider safety and should then consider society, friendship, love, nationality, community, and so on, which have all developed because of the bodily conception of life and a lack of knowledge of the spirit soul. So, in the material world, self-preservation is the first law of nature. What is that first self-preservation? First, you take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. But it's all on the bodily platform, no knowledge of soul. This is called Ajnana. As long as human society is in darkness and ignorance, men will continue to make huge arrangements in the bodily conception of life. And this is described by Prahlada Maharaja as Bharam. In the materialistic conception, modern civilization makes enormous arrangements for huge roads, houses, mills, factories. And this is man's conception of advancement of civilization. People do not know, however, that at any time they themselves may be kicked out of the scene. Kicked out of the scene. And forced to accept bodies that have nothing to do with these enormous houses, palaces, roads, and automobiles. Therefore, when Arjuna was thinking in terms of his bodily relationships with his kinsmen, Krishna immediately chastised him. Kudastva kashmalamidam vishame sampastitam anarya justam. This is anarya. And this is fit for non-Aryans. What? This bodily conception of life is fitting non-Aryans. Non-Aryans means those who are not advanced in knowledge. An Aryan civilization is a civilization advanced in spiritual knowledge, not material knowledge. Not merely by stamping oneself an Aryan does one become an Aryan. To keep oneself in the deepest darkness concerning spiritual knowledge and at the same time claim to be an Aryan is a non-Aryan position. This connection Srila Madhvacharya quotes as follows from Brahma Vaivarta Purana. The purport is that as long as we are in this human form of body, our duty is to understand the soul within the body. The body is not the self. We are different from the body, and therefore there is no question of friends, enemies, or responsibilities in terms of the bodily conception of life. There's no question of friends, enemies, or responsibilities, Prabhupada is saying. Mm. Of course, this is on the pure platform, on the perfectional stage where we don't have any responsibility in terms of the body. But till then, when we are on the lower platform, we continue with our responsibilities. But it's not required. Actually, it's one illusion that we have to continue these responsibilities till the end, or it's, yeah, wrong platform of knowledge. It's not required. This we are expected to follow all this only till we are materially conditioned. When we make progress, and of course, it takes all of us time to make progress, right? So, uh, generally, the hope is by the end of Grihastha Ashram, we would have gotten rid of all of our attachments to material things, and then we can give up responsibilities also at that time. That is Sarva Dharman Parityaja. If somebody is fortunate enough to do that before also, still maybe just to show the path, Mahajana Yena Gatasya Panta, just to show others how to live ideally in this material world as devotees, as families, we might still continue just to show an example, but maybe we are not really living like that usual grihastha life. We're also living in one house, but our focus is completely Krishna conscious. That's not normal grihastha life. But for people from outside, they can see, oh, see these the husband and wife and children, they're all so nicely engaged and they're so happy. More importantly, they're all happy. Children are, very nicely, very cultured. So these things we can show to the world. We can show what is the effect of, Garbhadan Samskar. We can show how Krishna's system works so nicely. And we can set an example to others, so they can also follow and come to the same platform of, just being, happy. But internally, we can be completely not materially attached. We should also be attached to devotees, and how devotees are in the house also should have. We should have the same attachment as devotees outside. Devotees in the house, devotees outside. The only difference is a little bit extra responsibility we have because we are continuously there in touch with them. They are helping us. We should help them. That's a mutual love and reciprocation. But apart from that, there's no need to be materially attached. No need to be materially disappointed, upset, etc., etc. So that is also not doing normal material duties. It is just duties from a spiritual platform, duties towards devotees, other devotees who are in the house. So that is still okay. But sometimes some people have some devotees for Krishna knows best, for reasons Krishna knows best. They might be in a completely non-devotee environment, in which case it's our duty to just go on till we finish off our responsibilities because there it's even more important. Because if we run away from the situation, then the whole world will say, see, these devotees are like this. They give up their material responsibility. So again, in order to protect the position, the status of a devotee as not somebody who runs away from his responsibilities, we might still continue to do, but without being attached. But eventually, we should practically, realistically also come out of all responsibilities, which is why marriage should happen early. Our marriage should happen early, then children's marriage should happen early, and then we can exit. But nowadays, people get married late, then children late, then their marriage late, and everything is delayed. So we can't exit at the right time. And we should exit. And exit means what? Just not engaged in material family stuff anymore. That's Vanaprastha. Basically, husband and wife helping each other in just focusing on spiritual progress. And we should get there. One should not be very anxious about the body's changing from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to old age, and then to appear apparent annihilation. apparent because there's no annihilation of the soul. Rather, one should be very seriously concerned about the soul within the body and how to release the soul from the material clutches. The living entity within the body is never annihilated. Therefore, one should surely know that whether one has many friends or many enemies, his friends cannot help him and his enemies cannot do any harm. Uh, Very, very important. Still, we have so much of, this, that, so much of nonsense happens, even in devotee communities. Outside, anyway, it's always there. Enviousness, not, not happy with others making progress, etc. I mean, childish. One should know that he is a spirit soul, Brahmasmi, and that his constitutional position is unaffected by the changes of the body. In all circumstances, everyone as a spirit soul must be a devotee of Lord Vishnu and should not be concerned with bodily relationships. Concern means again, not no friends, no enemies, everybody is equal. And no need for any material attachment. This is what it is, right? One should know that neither we ourselves nor our enemies in the bodily conception of life are ever killed. But because we are so attached to this body, we are worried about this body getting destroyed, body getting harmed, body suffering, all these things, right? So, hmm. So yeah. So, the other day I was telling somebody saying that those devotees who hear Prabhupada every day, uh, and those devotees ideally who are attending these sessions every day, will come to the right platform of Krishna consciousness. External behavior, internal state, everything. Because Prabhupada is hammering, right? Every day Prabhupada is saying things and we are taking these things seriously. And we are, giving the same, highlighting those in our discussion. So it is very easy for us to come to the top platform of devotion, of devotee's life. And those who are not attending these classes for whatever reasons, obviously will not have the same understanding. So they might not, their behavior might not be ideal. But it is expected out of the devotees in this group who are regularly hearing that our behavior should be ideal. Because we are making that effort to hear from Prabhupada. So we should not compare ourselves with those other devotees who are not on the ideal platform of behavior. Instead, we should understand saying that, okay, the mistakes that they are doing, we should not do. And that's it. We don't have to go point fingers at them, criticize them, talk about them, think about them. Not required. If there is some authority who can give them direction, they can. But I've seen this also, that unless somebody is engaged in regular Shravanam, they are not even ready to listen to authorities. They'll just do whatever they want. So, at least in my life, for me, it's very, very clear. Without Shravanam, without Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, let's be very clear. Without daily hearing, reading Bhagavatam, we cannot make spiritual progress. Chanting is can be very effective, but provided we chant on the again in the right consciousness, etc. For which Shravanam is important. So somehow we have to engage in Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, somehow, Prabhupada's language, somehow or other. At least if you're not able to attend class at, in the morning, at least the devotee should hear recordings. It's important. Otherwise, how are we going to correct ourselves? If you're not hearing, we don't even get the mood to correct ourselves. You say it's okay. I know. I can see so many devotees who are just not self-introspective. They just do whatever they want to do and they just want to think that they are doing bhakti. They are given responsibilities, they're not responsible about it, and they think it's okay. This is all because of lack of regular Shravanam. For whom are we doing all this? For Krishna's pleasure. And if suppose Krishna's or Srila Prabhupada's service is affected, because of our lack of interest or negligence or whatever it is. How good is it? So we have to be conscious, saying that okay, like in our Holy Mama Center, I keep saying, some things have to happen at certain time. Morning, okay, Guru Puja has to happen at certain time. Evening Sandhya Aarti has to happen at a certain time. And we cannot go and do these services at our own leisure. Why? Because, okay, maybe I'm not sitting there and to track, whether Aarti is happening on time or not. Because devotees have to be self-conscious about this, saying that Krishna is now waiting. When is my Aarti happening? Why is it getting delayed? It's a person. But if you are not conscious about it, then what is the use? Devotees come if they are told, please come, please do this service. But these are all lower platforms. So the devotees, at least on this, in this group who are hearing, please understand, that we have to do this, service to Krishna with love. At least with the thought saying that, okay, Krishna is a person and I need to, person means he eats at a certain time, he sleeps at a certain time. Everything happens, right? Time to time. At least disciplined, serious people, they do that. Prime Minister of the country can't have some erratic schedule, right? He'll have fixed schedule because so many things are dependent on his schedule. So similarly, Supreme Lord has a schedule, and it's our little, so that we have to do, take care of that schedule, respect that schedule. Somehow our own life is not as important as serving Krishna. We should weave our life around Krishna's schedule, not the other way around. Very, very important. Shri Narada Uvacha Iti Daityapathervakyam Ditir Akarnir Sasnusha Putra Shokam Kshanat Tyaktva Tatve Chittam Adharayat. Sri Narada Muni continued, Diti, the mother of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, heard the instructions of Hiranyakashipu along with her daughter-in-law Rushabhanu, Hiranyaksha's wife. She then forgot her grief over her son's death and thus engaged her mind and attention in understanding the real philosophy of life. Possibly, at least for the time they were hearing, they forgot the grief. It may be after that also, we don't know. But definitely Hiranyakashipu was not on that platform. So he spoke and then his life, he never applied these teachings, as we will see later. When a relative dies, one certainly becomes very much interested in philosophy. But when the funeral ceremony is over, one again becomes attentive to materialism. Even Daityas, who are materialistic persons, sometimes think of philosophy when some relative meets death. The technical term for this attitude is Smashana Vairagya. Vairagya in Smashana. As soon as you come out of Smashana, over. Back to material life. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, four classes of men receive an understanding of spiritual life and God. Artha, distress; Jignasu, inquisitive; Artharthi, one who desires material gains; and Gnani. Especially when one is very much distressed by material conditions, one becomes interested in God. Therefore, Kunti Devi said in her prayers to Krishna that she preferred distress to a happy mood of life. In the material world, one who is happy forgets Krishna. But sometimes if one is actually pious, but in distress, he remembers Krishna. So it is a sign of piety, not devotion, but it's a sign of piety. That when we are in distress, we think about Krishna as a sign of piety. Hmm? So this is very important. Queen Kunti Devi therefore preferred distress because it is an opportunity for remembering Krishna. When Krishna was leaving Kunti Devi for his own country, Kunti Devi regretfully said that she was better off in distress because Krishna was always present. Whereas now that the Pandavas were situated in their kingdom, Krishna was going away. This is such a painful thing. For a devotee, distress is an opportunity to remember the Supreme Person of Godhead. Please note this word, constantly. If we can just meditate on these 4 lines, we will never suffer in our life. I'm going to read this again. Queen Kunti Devi, therefore preferred, therefore means wife, one is actually, If one is actually pious, in distress, he remembers Krishna. Now, Kunti Devi was not just pious, but she was a great devotee. And so, therefore, she preferred distress because it is an opportunity for remembering Krishna. So, there are two ways in which we can remember Krishna in distress. On a lower platform, we can remember him and pray for relief. Oh, Krishna, please help me, please pull me out of this situation. I'm not able to deal with it. I'm struggling. There's so much of pain I'm undergoing. Lower platform, but still much better platform than the rest of the world. So praying to Krishna for pulling us out, for relieving us from our problems. But as we make little bit more progress, then we will see, oh, distress. Oh, Krishna is so merciful. Hmm. He is reduced the amount of distress, suffering I should actually go through. He's so kind. And I am such a nasty person. I'm such a asura. Hmm. Right? So remembering Krishna. Then even further, we don't even bother. When somebody makes even further progress, just say distress, okay, yes, just go on with service. How can I please Krishna even in this condition? That's the topmost platform. Not even bothered. So either way, distress is very favorable for devotees. Unfortunately, we can't understand this. So Kunti Devi is saying, regretfully, said that she was better off in distress because Krishna was always present, and Krishna is always present, not just because Krishna was there, externally visible in front of Kunti Devi. Krishna is always present whenever we call him. Whenever we are in distress and we call Krishna, Krishna is present. No doubts. And now she's saying, see, now that the Pandavas were situated in the kingdom, so in a favorable situation, Krishna is going away. And we can not imagine the trauma, the distress Pandavas were going through when Krishna was leaving them. This is the problem, with the devotees of Krishna, that, Krishna has to be there in different places, especially in his manifest pastimes. And even in Goloka for that matter, right? See, Krishna is not present everywhere. Though he is present, but devotees can't, they don't consider that he is present. They think, okay, Krishna has now gone to the forest to graze the cows. So then they are feeling distress. They're feeling separation. Hmm. So we have to come to this state of feeling separation from Krishna. Hmm. So devotee, when distress is there, he can think about Krishna constantly. There is no other, nothing else which can absorb us so much in Krishna consciousness as much as problems. It's been my experience the last 15 years. Distress has been my constant companion and hence made me more Krishna conscious than I would have otherwise been. Seriously, if for the sufferings that I have had in my life, I wouldn't have been as Krishna conscious as I am today. Not that I'm very greatly Krishna conscious, but it would have been worse. So one is to note this, saying that it's the opportunity for us to be constantly Krishna conscious. And depending on Krishna, the reciprocation by Krishna, it just intensifies, deepens the relationship, deepens our love for Krishna. And then at some point of time, we will come to this stage of uh, not being able to be without Krishna. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrushaitam. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. Without Krishna, without Govinda, shunyaitam, whole world is a big zero. And Kunti Devi was in that platform. Pandavas were on that platform. And so Kunti Devi is requesting then Maharaj Yudhishthir beseeches Krishna saying that please don't go. And of course, Krishna remained there because there was an important thing. Maharaj Yudhishthir had to come out of his illusion. Bhishma Dev had to speak. So many things. But then Krishna also left the Brajavasis. to come to Mathura and then Dwaraka for his responsibilities. And post Krishna going away from Vrindavan, Vrindavan became like a dead place. Just like when Rama left Ayodhya. The same thing, Ramayana describes that Ayodhya became like a haunted place. Like there are cobwebs everywhere. Nobody is bothered. Nobody is seeing this side. Nobody is keeping their, houses in fact. They're not even bothered about their body. They don't even know what they're eating, whether they're sleeping, what they're doing. They had no idea. And this is very, very vividly described even in, Krishna's pastimes. You know, Bhagavatam speaks to some extent, and then our acharyas actually describe in various scriptures, right? How really, I mean, they just couldn't live for a moment. Forget about Krishna going away from Mathura. Krishna just not being in front of their eyes, Yashoda Maya and gopis couldn't live. Literally, they were like burning in separation. Actually, Yashoda Maya's love for Krishna is so strong. Mm. So, uh, though it's Vatsalya and it's possibly considered maybe technically lower platform than Madhurya, but Yashoda Maya is just, her love is exalted. Mm. Just that the mood maybe is different, but her love for Krishna is as great. And they couldn't just live, waiting. Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya, they're just not wanting to let Krishna go to the forest. They're just following him, following him, following him. And then eventually Krishna says, see, you should go now. And only if I hear saying that you've taken bath and you've eaten your food, afternoon food, then only then I will eat. If you want me to eat, you go back home and then you also eat. And then he gives some work to Nanda Maharaj. He tells Nanda Maharaj, okay, see, my cricket bats are all broken. Please make some new ones. Oh, so then Nanda Maharaj will become happy. Oh, okay, okay, there's some service that I need to do for Krishna, so I'll go back. It was like that. It was just like painfully. They're just being drawn, drawn, drawn behind Krishna. They can't let him go. And then Yashoda is like, oh, Krishna, why do you have to go? Why can't there's so many other servants who can go and do this grazing business, taking these cows. Why can't you just be at home? All these demons are also there, and I'm so much in anxiety. And gopis have a different level of feeling. They're thinking, oh, how can Krishna walk on the barefoot on these, you know, on the floor, on the surface of the earth where there's so many thorns and stones, and they'll be poking into Krishna's, butter-like lotus feet. So they can't just stand without being away from Krishna. So we have to hear these things, and we should then think saying that, okay, where am I? What is my state now? Am I even am I even like, I mean, far from thinking of viraha, from separation of Krishna? And right now I'm feeling so much separation from material things. And this is a desire we should develop, saying that, when will that day come when I will have so much separation to Krishna that I can't live peacefully for one moment. That is eternal happiness. That is real happiness. So, which is why Bhagavatam and, I keep saying that these purports are just like mind blowing. They can very easily change us if we want to be changed. Mm. Okay, so I'll stop here. This ends this second chapter, and then now Hiranyakashipu, he gave all the theoretical blah, and now he's going to get into his usual demonic self from next chapter. Okay, so I'll stop here if anybody has any questions, comments. Anything else? Okay.